Dortmund, 1974. The air crackles with anticipation. A Dutch magician, number 14, receives the ball on the edge of the box. In a blur of motion, he feints one way, drags the ball back with his heel, and bamboozles the defender with a move that will echo through eternity. The Cruyff Turn. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated genius, a flash of individual brilliance that would forever be etched in the annals of football history. Yet, this singular act of magic was a beautiful contradiction. Johan Cruyff was the face of total football, a philosophy built on the collective, on the telepathic understanding of 11 players moving as one, a seamless ballet of space and possession. But he was also the star, the individual who could, and would, break the mold, defying expectations with a flick of his boot. This was his stage, the World Cup, and he was ready to dance. The West German summer was bathed in an orange haze, the color of the Dutch national team, and the dazzling flair of their players. Cruyff, with his floppy blonde hair and balletic grace, was at the heart of it all, each touch of the ball a compelling stroke, each movement steeped in vision and the weight of expectation. He was more than a player, he was an idea made manifest, a harbinger of a new way to play the beautiful game. The Crucible of Ajax and Michels. To understand the revolution, we must trace its roots. In the humble environs of Amsterdam, mere minutes from Johan Cruyff's childhood home, a footballing philosophy was forged. Ajax, the club, became the Crucible. Joppie, as he was affectionately known, joined as a boy, his mother finding work as a cleaner after his father's passing, a testament to the club's deep connection to its community. It was here, under the tutelage of the visionary Rinus Michels, that the seeds of total football were sown. Michels, himself inspired by the legendary Hungarian magical Magyars of the 1950s, cultivated a style that was revolutionary. Players were encouraged to run less, but to occupy each other's positions, creating a fluidity and unpredictability that stunned the world. This wasn't just football, it was a paradigm shift. The Ajax team, with Cruyff at its pulsating heart, achieved unprecedented success, lifting their first European Cup in 1971. Even after Michels departed for Barcelona, the machine he built continued its dominance, securing 3 consecutive continental crowns. Ruud Krol, a bedrock of that Dutch defense, would later recall, "Michels made us run less and take over each other's positions, which was revolutionary." It was the first time there was a totally different vision of football. Total football spread all over the world. It was the only real change for almost 40 years. He stunned the world. This was the intellectual and tactical genesis of the team that would enchant the globe in 1974. The system was built on intelligence, on movement, on a collective understanding that transcended individual brilliance, though Cruyff provided that in abundance. The rebel and the Barcelona move. By 1973, Johan Cruyff was more than just an Ajax star, he was a cultural icon. He was capturing his second Ballon d'Or, a symbol of his soaring individual talent. But his relationship with Ajax was fraying. A captaincy dispute, where the squad voted for Piet Keizer over Cruyff, left him feeling undermined, a form of jealousy he couldn't comprehend. This perceived slight, coupled with a growing desire for a new challenge, led to a seismic shift. He departed the Amsterdam club for Barcelona in a then world record £922,000 transfer, reuniting with his former mentor, Rinus Michels. His arrival in Catalonia was met with fervent hope, and he immediately delivered, spearheading Barcelona to their first La Liga title in 14 years. Yet, even amidst this triumph, whispers of discord followed him. He felt friction with former Ajax colleagues during international camps, sensing their disapproval of his late arrivals from Spain or his perceived aloofness. He was a player who demanded excellence, a leader who could be confrontational and rebellious, a stark contrast to his electrifying on-field artistry. He was the essence of cool, even stubbing out cigarettes on his boot soles as a teenager, but he was also a force to be reckoned with, unwilling to compromise his vision. This complex personality, this blend of genius and defiance, would cast a long shadow as he prepared to lead his nation onto the world stage, a stage they hadn't graced since before the Second World War. The stage was set for a reckoning, for a nation yearning for glory and a player ready to deliver it. qualifying for glory and the Kit Row. The Netherlands' World Cup history was, to put it mildly, sparse. They hadn't qualified for the finals since before the Second World War, and the European Championship remained an elusive dream. Even for the 1974 tournament, their qualification was fraught with controversy. A crucial match against Belgium hinged on an 89th-minute winner that was controversially chalked off for offside, a decision that replays later suggested was incorrect, handing the Dutch a lifeline. Manager František Vaderhamp was replaced by the astute Rinus Michels for the finals, a move that proved inspired. The squad, a blend of Ajax's fluid style and Feyenoord's grit, was augmented by the surprising inclusion of Jan Jongbloed, a cigar shop owner whose previous international cap had come a decade prior, chosen for his ball-playing ability. The Ajax contingent, steeped in Michels' pressing and positional fluidity, were already attuned to the system. The rest of the squad had the tactics drilled into them during a rigorous pre-tournament camp. But even as they prepared to dazzle the world, a bizarre dispute threatened to overshadow their campaign: the kit. Cruyff, contracted to Puma, refused to wear the standard Adidas kit, which featured the iconic 3 stripes. His personal deal meant his jersey would have 1 stripe removed, a visual representation of his individualistic stance against a backdrop of collective football. The KNVB had signed a deal with Adidas without consulting the players, a move Cruyff viewed as a slight, but the head sticking out of it is mine, he declared. This was not just about sportswear, it was about identity, about the man who embodied both the collective spirit and the individual spark. The world was ready for total football, but the Dutch were still navigating their own internal battles, both on and off the pitch, a testament to the unique pressures of this burgeoning footballing superpower.
The dawn of total football!
The Netherlands' opening match of the 1974 World Cup, against Uruguay in Hanover, was more than just a game, it was the unveiling of a footballing revelation. Stepping onto the Niedersachsen Stadion turf in their vibrant orange shirts, the Dutch showcased a style that was breathtakingly new. The system, meticulously crafted by Rinus Michels and embodied by Johan Cruyff, was total football in its purest form. It was a fluid, dynamic system where every player was capable of playing any position, a constant interchange of roles that left opponents disoriented. They pressed with an intensity that was unprecedented, harrying opponents and winning the ball back with ferocious efficiency. Then, with the ball, they moved with an almost telepathic understanding, a symphony of passes and intelligent movement. The Uruguayans, accustomed to a more rigid structure, were simply bewildered. The Dutch moved like a well-oiled machine, but one with a spirit and a flair that was uniquely their own. The press was suffocating, the attack was relentless, and the vision on display was profound. Arsene Wenger, a keen observer of the tournament, would later reflect on this seismic shift: "I discovered completely new football. When you speak today about pressing, transition and winning the ball back quickly, in 1974 Holland did that already. They were miles ahead tactically." Johnny Rep opened the scoring in the 7th minute, a testament to the team's potent mix of smothering press and effortlessly fluid attack. He would later add a second, completing an opening victory that sent shockwaves through the footballing world. This was not just a win, it was a declaration. The Netherlands had arrived, and they were playing a game unlike any seen before. The world watched, mesmerized, as total football began its conquest.
The Cruyff Turn in the Swedish Stalemate.
For days after their opening blitz, the Netherlands faced Sweden in a match that would become immortalized for a single, breathtaking moment of individual brilliance. The game itself, played at the Niedersachsen Stadion in Hanover, ended in a goalless draw, a testament to Sweden's disciplined defense and the Dutch inability to break them down. But it was in the 24th minute that Johan Cruyff etched his name into footballing legend. Receiving the ball with his back to the Swedish defender Jan Olsson, Cruyff, in a moment of pure instinct, feinted to cross the ball, only to drag it back with his heel, simultaneously spinning his body to face the pitch. It was a move so audacious, so unexpected, that Olsson was left completely wrong-footed, tumbling to the ground as Cruyff glided past him with the ball. Cruyff himself, in his autobiography My Turn, would later reflect, "The turn wasn't something I'd ever done in training or practiced. The idea came to me in a flash, because at that particular moment it was the best solution for the situation I was in. This was the paradox of Cruyff and total football. The system thrived on collective understanding and positional interchange, yet it was often individual moments of genius from its talisman that captivated the world. While the match ended in a frustrating stalemate, the Cruyff Turn transcended the scoreline. It was a symbol of the Dutch team's creativity, their daring, and their ability to produce magic even when the collective rhythm faltered. The image of Olsen being turned inside out became an instant classic, a visual metaphor for the revolutionary impact the Dutch were having on the sport. The tournament was just beginning, but a legend had already been born, a testament to the power of individual vision within a revolutionary collective framework. The final hurdle, West Germany. The path to the World Cup final was a masterclass in total football. The Netherlands swept aside all opposition, their fluid attacking style and relentless pressing leaving a trail of bewildered opponents. They dismantled Argentina 4-0, dismantled East Germany, and then dismantled Brazil, the reigning champions, in a seismic semi-final victory. Each match was a showcase of their tactical superiority and individual brilliance, with Johan Cruyff orchestrating the symphony from midfield. The world was convinced this was their tournament. They were the purveyors of the beautiful game, the embodiment of football's future. But on July 7, 1974, in the Olympiastadion in Munich, stood a formidable obstacle, West Germany. The hosts, a team renowned for their grit, their tactical discipline, and their sheer winning mentality. They possessed players like Franz Beckenbauer, a legend in his own right, and Gerd Müller, a lethal striker. The final began with a fairy tale for the Dutch. Within the first minute, Johan Cruyff was brought down in the penalty area. Johan Nieskens stepped up and coolly converted the penalty, giving the Netherlands a 1-0 lead before a German player had even touched the ball. It was the perfect start, the culmination of all their hard work, the dream seemingly within reach. But the West Germans, a team forged in the fires of adversity, were not about to capitulate. They weathered the storm, absorbing the Dutch pressure. Lacking the sublime fluidity of their opponents, they possessed a steely resolve, a pragmatic efficiency that would ultimately prove decisive. The dream, so tantalizingly close, began to waver. The Dutch, perhaps complacent in their perceived superiority, or perhaps simply unable to break down the German resilience, began to lose their shape. The magic started to fade, replaced by a growing sense of unease.
The echo of what might have been.
The 1974 World Cup final was a match etched in Dutch footballing lore, not for victory, but for the agonizing proximity to it. After Johan Nieskens' early penalty, the Dutch dream seemed destined for reality. But the West German machine, embodied by the unyielding determination of players like Franz Beckenbauer and the predatory instincts of Gerd Müller, began to assert its dominance. The Dutch, so accustomed to dictating the tempo, found themselves increasingly pegged back. They had scored a goal before a German player had even touched the ball, a moment of pure magic and perfect execution. Yet, the tide began to turn. A penalty awarded to West Germany, converted by Paul Breitner, leveled the scores. Then, in the 38th minute, the inevitable, Gerd Müller, the Der Bomber, latched onto a loose ball and fired home the winner. The final whistle blew, confirming a 2-1 victory for West Germany. The orange wave that had captivated the world had crashed against the German shore. Johan Cruyff and his revolutionary Dutch side had not lifted the trophy, but they had irrevocably changed the game. Total football, once a whispered theory, was now a global phenomenon, influencing tactics and inspiring generations. The echoes of that summer in West Germany reverberate still. It was the tournament that showcased the beauty of collective play, the genius of an individual, and the poignant reality of what might have been. Though they didn't claim the ultimate prize, their legacy was secured. They taught the world a new language of football, a language of movement, of intelligence, of daring. And as you drift to sleep tonight, remember the dance, the turn, and the enduring spirit of total football. Good night. Though they didn't claim the ultimate prize, their legacy was secured. They taught the world a new language of football, a language of movement, of intelligence, of daring. And as you drift to sleep tonight, remember the dance, the turn, and the enduring spirit of total football. Good night.